Alright, what's happening everybody? It's your man Akeem and welcome to today's fantasy football blog. I'm here to continue my week 1 selections of who you should sit and start for the week 1 of the NFL season for all you fantasy leaguers out there. Now it's time for me to talk about some of these key matchups on Sundays and Mondays games. I already talked about Thursday night's games between the Packers and the Saints, in which quarterbacks Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers racked up in points. And it's time to give me some other players that you should keep an eye on and sit for the first week of the NFL season. Starting with the Bengals and the Browns. This is going to be a good matchup. A player that you should start is Cedric Benson for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's pretty much their workhorse, and he's pretty much all they have on offense. They're still trying to develop a passing game with Andy Dalton starting at quarterback. He still hasn't made a good transition from college to the NFL. He's still trying to work on that case. Now Cedric Benson, in 4 games against the Cleveland Browns, need to give you a side note, he had over 150 yards rushing in 2 of those games. He's a good workhorse for this team, and I think he's going to have good yardage against the Cleveland Browns because of that statistical fact. Also, a good running back that you should start, obviously, Peyton Hillis. He had a breakthrough season last season for the Cleveland Browns, rushing for over 1,100 yards. He's a big, bulky running back who can give you those tough yardage after contact. So you should definitely start both players. But one player that you should keep an eye on, not start, but keep an eye on, is Colt McCoy, the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I think he's going to have a pretty good season this season. This is his second year in the Cleveland Browns offense, and I think he's going to have a better year than last year. But definitely keep an eye on Colt McCoy. Next game that you need to look at is the Indianapolis Colts against the Houston Texans. Now this is a big game because quarterback Peyton Manning, their star quarterback, he's not going to be available for the next 2 games at least, which means his 227 game starting streak will be closed. It's going to end this week because of his neck surgery. He had a neck surgery a couple weeks back, and he's still rehabbing on that. So Kerry Collins is going to get that starting nod at the quarterback position for the Indianapolis Colts. Now this is a tough situation because the Colts, the receiving core, including Reggie Wayne, he does not really have much faith in Kerry Collins. So this is going to be tough on who should you start for the offense of the Indianapolis Colts. I think you should still start Reggie Wayne and Dallas Clark. I believe that they're their top receivers. Also, the Houston Texans had the worst pass defense in the NFL last season, but they did pick up Jonathan Joseph from the Cincinnati Bengals. He's the cornerback. He's a good, reliable cornerback. He did upgrade that secondary for the Houston Texans, but I think you should still start Reggie Wayne and Dallas Clark, even with Kerry Collins starting at quarterback. But you should sit Joseph Adai, the running back, also DeLon Carter, the other running back, as well as receivers Pierre Garçon and Austin Coley. All these, they have a good receiving core, but their best receivers, in my opinion, are Dallas Clark and Reggie Wayne. And I think you should start both of them. And on Houston's side, you need to worry a little bit about Arian Foster and keep an eye on him. He's still dealing with the hamstring injury. He has not been practicing with the team for the past couple of practices, and this is pretty much day to day, and he's probably going to have a game time decision on Sunday to play the Colts. So if he is not available, you need to look at a good, reliable backup running back like Fred Jackson or Jonathan Stewart for the Carolina Panthers. Jonathan Stewart could be a good backup because the Panthers are playing against the Arizona Cardinals, who was 3rd in the league, third worst team in the league in the rush defense. So I think Jonathan Stewart can rack up some good, reliable points for you as a good backup. Also, Fred Jackson, I mentioned, he's a reliable running back. I mentioned it in a couple of other videos. He's a good working horse running back. He's going to be splitting time with C.J. Spiller, but he's going to start against the Kansas City Chiefs for their season opener, and I think that he's going to have some good, reliable backup points for you in the NFL league if Arian Foster is not available. The next game that you need to look at, the Chicago Bears will be hosting the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a good matchup. One fact that you need to know, last season, with Dante Robinson in that secondary, the Falcons were 22nd in the league in pass defense, which is pretty bad. They're in the bottom half. So, a player that you should start for this game is Johnny Knox for the Chicago Bears. He is their leading returning receiver from last season, and he's on the verge of getting another at least 1,000 yards this season, in my opinion. Even with the addition of Roy Williams, who was not a good fit for the Dallas Cowboys, I think Johnny Knox should still be that #1 receiver for Jay Cutler. So I think you should start Johnny Knox for that game. A player that you should bench for this game is Michael Turner, the running back for the Falcons. Because Chicago Bears, their defense, they have a great defense who was second in the league in the rush defense. So I don't really think you should start Michael Turner. Like Arian Foster, I think you need to depend on reliable running backs like Fred Jackson, Benson if he's your Cedric Benson if he's your second string running back, if he's your bench running back, and Jonathan Stewart. Definitely to keep an eye on him. The next game that you need to look at is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Now this is going to be a great defensive game, so I believe that you should start both defenses. A player that you should bench for this game is another running back, Ray Rice. I don't think he's going to do too well against the #1 returning rush defense team in the NFL. That's why you should bench Ray Rice. Even with the addition of Vontae Leach, I don't think Ray Rice is going to do too well in this matchup. Now on Monday night matchup, New England's going to be playing at Miami. This is going to be a good game for the Pats defense. Yes, they had one of the worst pass defense teams in the NFL, but Miami is still struggling with the quarterback position and still having a battle of who's going to be that starting quarterback. It looks like Chad Henne's going to start at quarterback, but they still don't really have a good quarterback. So I think the defense is going to rack up in points, both in the pass defense and rush defense. We still don't really know what they're going to do with the running game with Reggie Bush and Daniel Thomas leading the way. I'm not really 100% sure of how well they're going to do running the football for the Miami Dolphins. So I think the Patriots are going to have a good game defensively. So definitely start the Patriots defense if you do not have them as your starting defense this week. Now that's pretty much all I need to talk about for this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment at the bottom of the screen. I will get back to you as soon as possible, or you could go to my personal channel and leave a message there, and I will reach back to you as soon as I can. I have give you another quick announcement. I have a new phone. Anytime you guys leave a message for me, it goes directly to my phone, and I will respond to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching today's vlog from Sports News Insider. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.